Here we go in the next chapter. In the next chapter. So you guys have stuffed animals. I'm allowed to play with one too. All right. So here's Simba. He's going to read the next chapter of The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. He's allowed to read it with us. I'm going to read it with you. So I am allowed to read this book for Scholastic. Really? That's awesome. Yes. Awesome. I love it too, Simba. Okay. Maybe someday you could just be a lion. All right. Just hope everything works out in your favor. All right. So go make a quick prediction of what's going to happen next. Okay. So we had Edward get thrown out of the train car last time. Okay, so he got thrown out. Go make a prediction what's going to happen to him next. Who's going to get picked up by? What's going to happen to him? Go. Well, I think some wild animal is going to pick him up outside the train. Really? That sounds pretty cool. You're pretty wise for a stuffed animal. Okay, here we go. God, this is just too many days of quarantine, guys, because, it's my new best friend. All right, in the morning. The sun rose and the crickets sang, gave way to the song and the bird, and an old woman came walking down the road. And he tripped right over Edward. She said. She pushed at Edward with the fishing pole. Looks like a rabbit. She said. She put down her basket and bent down and stared at Edward. Only he ain't real. She stood back up. She said again. She rubbed her back. What I say, there's a use for everything in the ace, and everything has its use. That's what I say. Edward didn't care what she said. The terrible ache he had felt the night before had gone away and had been replaced with a different feeling, one of hollowness and despair. Pick me up or don't pick me up, the rabbit thought. It just makes no difference to me. The old lady picked him up. She bent him double and put him in the basket, and with a smell of weeds and fish, and then she kept walking, swinging her basket and singing, Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Edward, in spite of himself, listened. I've seen troubles too, he thought. You bet I have, and apparently they aren't over yet. The old woman found a use for him. She hung him from a pole in her vegetable garden. She nailed his velvet ears to the wooden pole and spread his arms out if he were flying and attached his paws to the pole by wrapping pieces of wire around him. In addition to Edward, pie tins hung from a pole. They clinked and they clanked and they shone in the morning sun. And a doubt in my mind that you will scare him off. Scare who off? Edward said. Birds, he soon discovered. Crows. They came flying at him, cawing and screeching, wheeling over his head and diving into his ears. Go on, Clyde, said the woman. She clapped her hands. You got to act ferocious. Clyde? Edward felt awareness so intense wash over him as he thought he might actually be able to sigh aloud. Would the world never tire of calling him the wrong name? The old woman clapped her hands again. Good, go to work, Clyde. Scare them birds off. And then she walked away from him and out of the garden and towards the small house. Okay. The birds were insistent. They flew around his head. They tugged at his loose threads and at his sweater. One large crow in particular would not leave the rabbit alone. He perched on the pole and screamed with a dark message into Edward's left ear. Caw-caw! Edward became somewhat dazed. He mistook the large crow for Pellegrina. Go ahead, he thought. Turn me into a warthog if you want. I don't care. I'm done with caring. Caw-caw! The Pellegrina crow. And finally the sun set and the birds flew away. Edward hung by his velvet ears and looked up at the sky. He saw the stars, but for the first time in his life, he looked at them and felt no comfort. Instead, he felt he was being mocked. You are down there alone, the stars seemed to say, and we were up here with our constellations together. I have been loved, Edward told the stars. So, said the stars, what difference does that make when you are alone? Edward could think of no answer to that question. Eventually, the sky lightened and the stars disappeared one by one. The birds returned and the old woman came back to the garden. But this time, she brought a boy with her. All right, that is the end of that chapter. Here is the boy. All right, as per usual, here are your questions. I want you guys to answer, okay? Again, only a couple of you are sent it to me in Seesaw. That's great, okay? You can still tell your parents and whatnot, but I want you guys to practice your writing, all right? Parents want to practice your writing too. I mean, we're not writing anymore in class, so you have to practice it at home. Typing is super important, yes, okay? Because typing is going to really take over in high school and mostly in college. But we have to be good writers to be able to do that. So make sure you guys are writing it down. You can always write down in the journal, take a picture of it. Okay, that's all good. I want to know what is Edward now? Okay, what is he? All right, he is a specific kind of a tool now that's being used. I want to know what he is and why he is that. Okay, so why he is this new character for this lady. Okay, and give me your thoughts and feelings on how he now feels about this new owner. Okay, we didn't get much at first. Okay, so it's mostly going to be a prediction of his thoughts and feelings of how he feels now. Because remember, his feelings have changed constantly every time he's with the new owner. So how has he changed now? So your sense is going to be his feelings have changed to blankety blank. All right. So go ahead and work that one out. Write them down. Send it to me, and I'll see you guys next week for the next chapter.